My friend worked at a bank. He gave loans to people, but his own life was full of them. And slowly, that started to feel strange to me. Let me tell you a story. Tom, he was very good at calculating interest, but he wasn't very good at escaping it. He understood loans. He explained them every day, and every evening he went home to his own. One day, I visited him at work. There was a customer sitting across his desk. Tom was speaking, calm, clear, confident. He was explaining the interest, the timeline, the monthly payments. The customer nodded. Everything made sense. Everything looked right. Then the scene changed. It was evening. Tom was at home. Same table. But this time, there was no one across from him, just a screen and numbers. His numbers, his debts, the same calculations. But this time, there was no exit. It always felt strange to me that this was the biggest irony in a banker's life. And after a while, I realized it wasn't just about bankers. That was the strange thing about adulthood. Sometimes the people explaining the system were trapped inside it too. And back then, I thought being good with money meant being able to talk about it seriously. Turns out that wasn't enough. House loan, car loan, credit card, furniture payments. He didn't feel rich. He didn't feel poor either. He felt committed. For the next 20 years, that commitment didn't happen all at once. It happened slowly. One paper, one signature, then another, for a house, for a car, for a card. The pen touched the paper, and in that moment, it felt like nothing changed. But in reality, everything did. That's the strange thing about debt. Nobody wakes up and says, I would love to owe money in 4 different directions. It just happens slowly, one signature at a time, and before you realize it, your calendar has more owners than you do. One day, I looked at my calendar. It was a normal week, but something felt different. Each day had a meaning. Monday, credit card. Tuesday, rent Wednesday. Car Thursday. Bills. Even the weekend wasn't really free. It felt like my days didn't belong to me. It felt like they were already assigned. One evening, Olivia mentioned buying a bigger house one day, like everyone else, and all I said was, yeah, everyone. For a moment, we imagined it. A bigger living room, a wider kitchen, a better neighborhood, keys, a sense of a new beginning. Everything looked beautiful. But then I saw something else. Years, the same job, the same obligation, the same cycle, and that dream slowly changed. And then something that had been sitting quietly inside me came out. Sometimes I feel like people don't buy houses. Houses buy people. At that age, I was starting to notice something uncomfortable. Many things we called success felt a lot like long-term obligation, and most good financial decisions were just expensive things everyone else was doing. I looked around. Everyone was following the same path. Good job, loan, house, car. No one was questioning it because everyone was doing it, and that made it feel right. I asked Warren about debt. He told me something I never forgot. Debt is not about money. Debt is about time. When you take debt, You sell your future time to the bank. The bank gives you money today, and you give it years of your life back. That was the first time I really thought about it. Time. The only thing you don't get back. And we were turning it into money, but in reverse. We were taking the money first and paying with time later. The problem is not the loan itself. The problem is building a life where you have to work, not because you want to, but because you owe. Some evenings, I would just sit there, doing nothing, just thinking. I knew I would go to work the next day, but why? Because I wanted to? Or because I had to? I wanted something more comforting, something modern, something optimistic. But instead, he made me realize something simple. I was selling pieces of my future. Debt is quiet. It doesn't shout. It doesn't look dangerous. It just slowly takes your options away. I noticed it most in the moments when I didn't want to do something, but I had to. It felt like I had choices, but in reality, I didn't. Tom kept paying, John kept spending, I kept learning. For a long time, my life looked very ordinary from the outside. No luxury, no big moves, just a man trying not to make expensive mistakes. Some people wake up and go to work because they want to. Some people because they have to. One day, I asked myself a question. Which one am I? The answer didn't come right away, but the feeling was clear. For many years, we thought we owned our lives, but in reality, the bank owned our time. And the strange part is, back then, I didn't think my life was bad. Everything looked normal. I had a job. We had a home. I came back home in the evenings. We went grocery shopping on weekends. Sometimes we ate outside. So from the outside, life looked completely normal. Some nights, after Olivia and Leo went to sleep, I would sit alone in the kitchen, but not because I was sad. I actually liked those hours because they were the first quiet moments of the day. Nobody needed anything. The phone stopped ringing. Life slowed down. And finally, I could think. Sometimes I would just drink coffee and look around the kitchen. Leo's school bag, bills on the table, Olivia's coffee mug, normal things, real life things. And strangely, people sometimes experience their biggest realizations inside moments that look completely ordinary. It was 1:17 a.m., and I was still sitting there. Because I was thinking about the next day, the alarm would ring in the morning. I would wake up, take the same road, see the same people, sit at the same desk, and life would continue exactly where it left off. After a while, I realized something. The thing exhausting me wasn't the work itself. It was the repetition. It felt like life wasn't moving forward. It was spinning. The same weeks, the same conversations, the same exhaustion. And you know the strangest part? I wasn't the only one living like that. Everyone looked tired, but nobody stopped to talk about it. It felt like adulthood was a collective agreement to stay exhausted. I remember looking outside the kitchen window one night. Some apartment lights were still on. Other people were awake too. Other kitchens, other tables, other debts, other silences. And for the first time, I didn't feel alone. Because in that moment, I realized something. This wasn't just my story. This was the story of our generation. People thought they were buying a life, but most of the time, we were just buying more expensive responsibilities. And while thinking about all of that, I suddenly remembered that I still had to go to work again the next morning, and in that moment, I felt something strange inside me, not the desire to run away, not the desire to quit, just the feeling that I didn't want this to continue forever. And maybe that's how change really begins, not with huge decisions, but with quiet nights. And around that time, I started paying closer attention to Tom, because the more I looked at his life, the more I started seeing my own. Debt is not always evil, but it is never free. Every loan has a hidden cost, and that cost is time. Be careful what you buy with borrowed money, because you might be paying for it with borrowed years.